If you're listening out there, you know, I shouldn't really be saying this, but I'd like to see you try and come and stick yourself in front of a camera and interview. I think the World Championship should be stopped. That's all I'm going to say. It takes over your life. Honestly, it takes over your life. And I sat there and cried for 5 minutes because I honestly, genuinely thought I'd never finish. I love trials. Trials is my life.
Welcome, Trials Riders. So this is actually the first podcast interview we ever did, and it was with none other than Richard Midgley AKA Milky. For those of you that don't know, Milky is the English-speaking sales rep for Offroad Action, who are based over in Belgium. Now, Milky's a big guy, but it's safe to say he's got an even bigger personality. And after spending some time with him, you can't help but become a fan. Enjoy.
This Downtime podcast is brought to you by BVM Moto. Shop online or in-store for great deals and get professional advice on your favourite bikes, parts, clothing and accessories.
So yeah, where are we?
We're currently in a hotel room in a place called Durven in Holland. It's Sunday evening of Trial GP Zellum 2019.
Just been out for a nice meal, haven't we?
Yeah.
Who was there?
Well, it's been quite a hectic weekend for us. We arrived on Friday. We've done something new this week from Yitzi with a container, showing off some new collections and some bikes from riders of us, and we've also had a casual corner where people could buy some casuals, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, stuff like this. But with us being a little bit of a distance away from the trial, it's been a bit hectic on a night. So tonight's been the first night we've really had something to eat. So we ate with Jan Cardinals, the boss, and my travel companion, Mr. Peters. Obviously, Craig was there, and then we had the legend that is DL12, Mr. Lampkin.
He's got a good sense of humour on him, hasn't he?
He has got a good sense of humour. I think it helps, you know, being a Yorkshireman like myself.
Oh wait, do you reckon he'd get upset that if we said that we all went to McDonald's for ice cream?
No, we enlightened Dougie's horizons this evening. We took him for a McFlurry after we'd eaten.
That can't be true. Do you reckon he has had one before? Surely.
I'm not sure.
I bet you know.
I'm actually not sure. I think it could have been his first one. But yeah, we were also joined by Paul Martinez and his mechanic Suka, and Suka's daughter Lyra.
She's been working with you, like, hasn't she?
Yeah. So Suka comes to the office quite a bit, and last year they came for the round in Belgium, and he brought Lyra with him, and she's been doing some stuff for school last year, and she went to a few events because during the summer holidays she obviously gets a bit of time off from school. So yeah, she did a bit of filming last year when we were doing the live at the Trial GP. So yeah, she comes and helps us out at the office sometimes, and you know, she's really good at what she does. She's
Spanish, isn't she?
Yeah.
She speaks how many languages?
3, I think. I think she speaks
good at English. I think.
English, Spanish, and a little bit of German. Yeah. But yeah, she's been helping Mr. Peters out this weekend with video on the trial today on the Sunday, and we made some interviews on Friday and Saturday morning with the riders for
she was doing a bit of the presenting, the same as you then.
Yeah. You know, we were a partner this week at the Trial GP in Zellum. We're also going to be a partner next week in Combelalpo in Belgium. But Jan Peters made some, you know, footage for the trial to explain to the people that had come from the local area and the VIPs and stuff that to find out what trials was. So yeah, it's been a pretty hectic weekend. It's been absolutely scorching. Yeah.
And we've both got pretty bad British tans.
We've got like refresher tans, which
if you follow us on Instagram,
maybe you've seen. But yeah,
We're looking a bit red and sore now.
but yeah, and tomorrow, which is Monday the 24th, we have a trial school on the terrain in Zellum with Dougie, Jan Peters, Franzi Cadleck, Pow, and then the local rider that's Alex van den Broek that made the sections. So yeah, it's going to be good. I think we've got like 40 odd riders coming, split across two sessions, a morning and an afternoon. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And then
that's going to be riding in the same like area where the top boys have been riding today.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they were talking while we were having dinner this afternoon about they'll take them and ride some sections. And Dougie was giving Pow a bit of a hard time because he's Pow's team manager, because Pow's riding for the Vertigo Factory this year, and he hasn't had the best of days today. For Pow's.
Where did he finish in the end? Do you know?
I think he was 7th today, which, yeah, for Pow's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dougie said he's going to take him back and he's going to ride some of the sections that he made a bit of a boo-boo on. But yeah, that's what the plans is. That's what we're doing while we're here this weekend. So yeah, it's pretty hectic.
So like, I don't know. It's weird, like being out with you and that this week. It's a weird job you've got, isn't it? Really. Do you know what I mean? It's not your average 9 to 5.
Oh no! It's definitely not 9 to 5.
And how did you even what did you start off with? Like, how did you get into like the trials world as such?
In general or work related?
Well, I mean, first of all, I take it you've ridden trials yourself, haven't you? Like,
yeah, well,
how old were you when you started?
Bit of a life story. I am born and bred in Silsden, which people in the UK, Yorkshire, people in the UK.
Is there many trials around that way?
Many trials, flipping heck, yeah. So yeah, I'm from Silsden originally. If you're from Silsden, the Lampkin name in Silsden is like, the Beckham name in football. Yeah. Everybody knows Dougie. Everybody knows John. Yeah, everybody knows the Lampkins in Silsden and
in the world, really.
In the world, yeah. And last year we had the Trial GP in Silsden, which for me as a Cobby Daler, as we call from Silsden, was incredible to see. On the terrain where I pretty much learnt the trade, as they say. But no, I got into trials through my father. He used to rally, and then when my parents were expecting my older sister, they decided that it was too much money and a bit, life threatening. So he got into it through some friends of his, and I think like a lot of people that get involved in trials, they caught the bug, Yeah. So yeah, I had a bike before I was born, a little TY80 that was painted in Yamaha yellow with black stripes on the tank. It was an absolute boss.
Have you still got it or not?
No, I sold it, but I know exactly where it is. But the guy's a bit, he
won't give it back to you yet.
Well, he'll give it back to me, but he wants me to pay more than what I sold it to him for. So, and it's in a bit of a bad state. But yeah, maybe one day I'll get hold of it. But yeah, my dad was always riding trials. Unfortunately, he started a bit too late to do all the big stuff. But yeah, I started riding when I was pretty young, to be honest, and maybe
any good at it.
Not the best, I had a fair while out, to be honest, because I had a bit of a crash, and when I was young, and yeah, speaking to my dad these days, he says maybe he put me on too young, but I've always been around trials. Trials is my passion. Trials is my life. Started riding again when I was like 12, 13. Done a bit, here and there, and then basically, the more I, started getting older and stuff, you move on to doing a bit bigger trials in the centre and stuff like that, and going a bit further down country and stuff like this. But
because like you've done how many Scottish 6-day trials?
I've finished. Hang on a sec. 14, 15, 8. I finished 5. Yeah.
Finished 5. How many have you? Like,
5 from 5. Yeah.
Pretty good going then.
Yeah. That all came about basically. When I left school, I did a bit of engineering, but realised it wasn't for me because I'm a people person. Messed about a bit at school, like you do when you're a lad. Ended up working in a department store, which I absolutely hated. And I was lucky enough to be at a British Championship with a friend of mine, as a minder / driver, talking to John Lampkin, being a Silsden boy, and we just sort of got talking about what was happening, and he asked me what I was doing for work, and I told him, and he said, yeah, swing by and we'll maybe have a chat and talk about it. And
this is John Lampkin, who
Beta UK
importer.
Beta importer, yeah.
And he's doesn't live that. How far away did he live from your local town?
Just over the hill, so like 3 or 4 miles away from where I'm from, and the business was in Silsden, so pretty much on the doorstep. Started working for him in 2012 and was there till sort of end of the summer 2016, so pretty much 12, 13, 14, 15. I was there nearly, pretty much bang on 5 years, and it had always been my dream to ride the Scottish, and I'd said to John a few times that I wanted to ride the Scottish, but didn't think that I was good enough. And I've got John Lampkin to thank a lot for where I am today and for what I've achieved in trials. I'm not saying I'm Dougie or Tony or whatever, but John sort of took it upon himself to get me to the finish of the Scottish, and I've been a few times helping my friends out with their dads, running around in the van all week, and been and watched it quite a few times, and love it, Scotland, love the Scottish. And in 14, the dream became a reality.
You got the bag as that. You got the Scottish bag.
Yeah, I was told as I finished the trial, I'm not going to lie to you, Craig. It was the hardest week I've ever had on a trials bike, and if you look at the results, which I don't really want you to do, I had a lot of marks, and I'm not going to lie, I lost time penalties every day apart from Monday and Monday, Friday, and Saturday. So 3 days out of the 3, I lost time penalties.
This was in your first year.
Yeah, this was in 2014, and.
I think unless someone's ridden it though, you can't describe it, can you? Like what that trial was like.
No. And I'm not making excuses, but 13 was wet the last year that I went up and supported my mates, and then we went in 14, and I think it was as wet, if not wetter, and the moors were terrible, the rivers were deep, there was a lot of water, and I battled my way through on my 250 beta. Got to the end, and I'm not going to lie to you, and you'll know this feeling when I came off the moor at the end of what's it called, Glen Nevis. There, I cried. I actually full on went through the time control, handed my time card in, and I was in between the Forest and Town Hall Bray, and I sat there and cried for 5 minutes because I honestly, genuinely thought I'd never finish. So balls Town Hall Bray up, which I think
it's not the section it used to be, though, is it? This is Town Hall Bray is the last section of the Scottish 6-day trial, which is where they hold it in the high street, don't they?
Yeah, and you come down, and I think the full population of Fort William stood there, and it's pretty daunting, to be honest. And you go and walk it during the week or on the Saturday when you get up there, or the Sunday when you've got a bit of time to kill between scrutineering and the parade, and it doesn't seem that steep, but when you've battled around the 6 days on your bike for 6 days, you get to Town Hall Bray and it's like climbing Everest.
Yeah.
Not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I came down to the podium, and there was quite a few guys from the local centre and, you know, dealers and stuff like that, and people that were there, and basically congratulated me. And yeah, a lot of people from the local centre in the Yorkshire Centre, which I was riding for when I was living at home, being from Yorkshire, said that I'd never do it. And I'm a very determined person, and I got the bit between my teeth during the week, and I had a few times where I was putting the bike in the back of the van and we were going home, but my mum and dad told me, you know, just think of how many people have said you can't do it and you want to prove them wrong. And yeah, I got to the finish, and Gary Pears, a guy who's ridden 30 Scottishes, you know, he knows what he's talking about, came to me and said, Milky, congratulations, mate. He says, but you've got a problem now. And I says, oh, what's that? He said, the Scottish is one of them trials that you'll do once and never do again, or you'll do once and you'll never not do it again. And yeah, I said, well, that's me done. I've done what I wanted to do. Went to the presentation, got my finishers awards, you know, got some presents off people that you know were there supporting me all week, and went out on the town with the lads, and we had a really good time, you know, which is what trials is about.
You went out and got drunk then?
Yeah, I was only out about an hour and a half because I was absolutely knackered and could hardly hold my pint glass. But yeah, got in the van on the way home on the Sunday after having a McDonald's breakfast, which is it seems to be the tradition now with us as a family, going to Mackey's on the Sunday. And my dad said to me, are we booking the chalet we're in for next year? And I said no. I said that's it. You know, and we set off in the van, and it's about a 6.5 hour drive home to Silsden, and I think we'd got about 3 hours down the road, and I'd slept for about 2 hours 59 minutes of them. And my dad says, are we going back next year? And I said maybe, but I wasn't sure. And then about a week later, when I'd got everything washed off and got my bike back to how it was, he says, are we going back? And I said, hell yeah. I says, that's it, you know, I've got the bug. And yeah, we're sat here in 2019 and I've finished 5, started 5. Unfortunately, I didn't ride this year, but we'll come on to that later on.
And you're going to be entering next year, I take it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't have another year not riding. It absolutely killed me being there and not riding, but
this year, I suppose, what, you were going around after Jan Peters?
Yeah, so I had a little crash just after the Scottish last year, and at the time didn't realise what I'd done, but I'd basically destroyed my scaphoid in my left hand. Went travelling with work and did some trials and stuff, and you know, being a northerner, I'm pretty made of hard stuff, and walked around with it broken for near on 7 months, I think it was. 6 or 7 months, and basically realised when I was at the Scott trial with Jan riding round that there was something wrong. Yeah. So I had that done and ended up having an operation on that to pin it, and quite a big operation. So was told, you know, I can't ride, and sort of made an entry for last year and didn't get in through the reserve, through the ballot. You know, there was a lot of riders, 540 odd riders, which it's incredible for a non-stop trial. But yeah, so boss Jan, the owner of Jitsi, said, look, if you want to go, you can go. So I said, oh yeah, I'm going. You know, it's one of them, you can't miss it. You know yourself as being from a trials family, and your dad riding as many. Once you go up there, you even if you're spectating, you've got to go back. Yeah. And we went there this year and basically tried to support Jan the best I could. We also had one of our French riders, Benoit Dagnicot. He was riding for the first time. Trial GP rider. Yeah, top route, France, all this lot, you know, pretty good rider. Yeah. He was there first time. won the first timer award. Had an awesome day on the last day, dropping one. And he cleaned the whole of Ben Nevis, which was quite an impressive ride, because that's where Dougie and Dibbs lost their marks on the Saturday. Sorry.
It's always known, isn't it, as being like the killer kind of last week to try and like stir things up a little.
Oh yeah.
It's not for the usual kind of everyday rider like ourselves.
No, and yeah, they've said to me before, of some of the Scottish lads, that they actually set them out on the Saturday, and if everybody's on like 100 marks going into the end of the week, they'll make them easy. But if the like top 50's on like under 25, they make them hard because they want to take marks off the top lads. Which is, I understand that it's got to be done, Yeah. But yeah, I was there. We did some content for Jitsi. We tried to go live as much as we could, but yeah, in the Scottish Highlands, it's not the best signal. So we ended up making videos of groups of sections every day, and yeah, it's a bit difficult being a spectator up there because you can't really like jump in and out of section groups. You've got to sort of try and set your stall out and say, right, today I'm going to go here, park up, do a bit of a walk. But we tried to bring as much as we could. We did a few lives in the paddock of like Dougie scrutineering and Jan and a paddock walk of all the importers and like what they're doing up there, which, we got a lot of credit for it. I got a lot of stick because of, I say the word obviously quite a lot, but that's just what it is.
Well, you had a lot of your fans, were they complaining?
No, they weren't even fans. They were just random blokes that were watching the live feed that decided they wanted to give me a bit of stick. But if you're listening out there, I shouldn't really be saying this, but I'd like to see you try and come and stick yourself in front of a camera and interview absolute idols of the British World Trials, mafia as we'll call it. But yeah, I was sick at the end of the week of people asking me why I wasn't riding. I'll definitely be back next year. That's if I get a ride. It's difficult to get a ride up there, but I've got ways and means.
You did with Jits as well, you had like your daily vlog.
Yeah, well...
Is that one of the more popular kind of vlogs that you do, or is it more of your abroad ones, like further afield? Have they been more popular, do you know? Or? For us, like our Scottish ones, the ones that like I film when I'm riding, it seems to generate the most interest so far out of all the stuff that we've done, which has only really been our local kind of nationals and such, rather than the Scottish 6-day trial. But you've been a bit further afield, haven't you?
Yeah, well, the whole thing with our video log series came around in 2017. So I started working for Jitsi / Offroad Action, which is our distribution company, in 2016, at the end of 2016, and at that time I'd put an entry in for Scotland, and Jan Peters had been a few times and said, right, next year I'm going to ride. And I've got a few friends, as I should say, up there, and tried to pull the strings and through people that I knew through being in the trials industry, for us to try and get as close to Dougie as we could to make the videos as we'd done years before. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and me and Jan ended up as numbers 8 and 9. So we had a very early day on Monday, and Dougie was like 193, I think. So we didn't see anything of him that week. Yeah. And we had a discussion at the office in Belgium about making this video where we followed 3 riders. Dougie, who's going for the win, Jan Peters, who's a bloody good rider, excuse my French, but he doesn't give himself enough credit for how good a rider he actually is. He can pull a top top 20 up there if his head's in the right place and he's on it, you know.
Yeah.
And then myself, who's a clubman rider that's going up there to get round, and we just came up with the idea of doing like a thing, you know, a video log. So yeah, we made that in 2017, and we put the first one of us prepping the bikes and travelling. We put it on Jan Peters Trials as his actual, you know, athlete page, and it went crazy, absolutely crazy. People were like loving it and telling us that they'd watched it in Parc Fermé. So we decided as a team as such to put it out on our Facebook and our YouTube channel and everything like this, and it just went from there. And yeah, 2017 was pretty much, that's all we did. Coming into 2018 last year, we decided to try it a bit further afield, and yeah, it's pretty much taken off. We've been to
I was just looking like at the YouTube page now, like the videos and such, and it's like you've done like the 3 day in Spain together, haven't you?
Yeah, so this year, in preparation for Scotland, we had a little trip down to Spain, and we went to shoot with Dougie for some content. And
Was it the
Santiago's a 3 day, absolute awesome trial. I had an entry, but unfortunately, due to my hand, I couldn't ride. But I was given the all clear by the doctor to ride a bike, so I rode round as a minder for Jan, and basically made pictures and videos of the weekend. You know, we went to Canada in 2008, end of 2018. Yeah, we've been to Spain, we've been to Sweden, we've literally a few weeks ago come back from America. But anybody that's listening that thinks that I just travel for fun, I'm a salesman for Offroad Action for Jitsi, and I cover, you know, a lot of the customers that speak English. Well, all of the customers that speak English. So it's also a business trip for me.
What countries do you cover then? Really, England?
Pretty much all the way from the west coast of America all the way across to Australia.
Yeah.
So yeah, like America, Canada. Well, bits of Canada because there's the French-speaking part of naturally. Yeah, England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, Eastern Europe, Scandinavia. Going further afield is like, you know, Greece, Cyprus.
Yeah, you've got a lot then, really.
Australia, yeah. So yeah, it's a business trip for us.
And so, like, did you get invited to, like, say this last place you went, you were in, where were you in the USA?
So yeah, the USA, we literally came back from Scotland on the Monday, and yeah, Wednesday morning we flew out to Texas. And
how did that come about? Like, did you all decide at work, like, oh, we want to go to Texas, or
no.
How did that?
When we went to Canada, they have their version of the European Championship as such, which is the FIM North America Championship, and they ran that in 2018. They ran it at their final round of their national season, which was in Washington State, I think, and then the following weekend was in Vancouver. So yeah, as a business trip, we hopped on a plane and flew out to Vancouver and basically rode the trial. And, you know, if anybody's ever met me, they know that I'm a very likeable person, and I'll talk to anybody. You know, I'll give anybody the time of day. And Jan's pretty much the same. He can be a bit shy at first, but we made such a good impression that Christy Williams, who is like she's a legend in North America. She's been a few times women's pro champion, and she's ridden world championships and stuff like this. And she got involved with a trial that they run in the States. It used to be called the Pro-Am, so the professional and amateur trial. And it's now called a Super Trial Series. And it's run by a guy who's called Ron Salmon. He is the team boss, I would say, of the Sherco Scorpio importer now in the USA, and basically he runs like an exhibition trial in this little quaint little town in Texas, which is like, it's got the oldest dance hall in America, just to let you know.
The oldest what?
Dance hall, yeah, where they do a bit of line dancing and side steps. And
did they get you having a go at it?
no, but when we were there, they had like this do on, and there was some people properly line dancing dressed as cowboys and everything. But yeah, Jan got invited to ride this trial in Texas, and we thought, okay, it's a good opportunity to go and see the customers that we have in the States. And you know, it's always nice to go to America. I don't know if you've ever been, but America's crazy. So we started planning. We then realised that the following weekend there was the first round of their national series. So we spoke very nicely to the boss, and he said, yeah, why not stay out? So we jumped on a plane and flew to Texas and rented a car and went and rode the trial in Texas. And then we went and stayed with a dealer of ours and his minder in Nebraska, and we had an awesome week. Apart from the tornadoes, you know, we had some amazing food and we rode in some amazing places. And then we jumped in the car again and we drove for about what felt like 4 days to it wasn't 4 days, may I add. It was about 9 hours, but it felt like 4 days in the car to Nebraska. And yeah, we rode the first round of their national series out in Nebraska.
How did Jan get on?
Yeah, so the level in the States is pretty high, you know. Pat Smargy is an absolute animal.
Are they all like, I imagine with it being America, it's all like humongous steps, like real big. That's what I thought, but you know, there's quite a few technical sections. There's some big stuff. I think it depends on the state that you go to. It's a bit like being at home and the different centres like yourself. You're a mud plugger, aren't you, most weekends, and being from the south.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. And then you go up to sort of like Derbyshire, and you've got massive granite lumps of like granite and sandstone and super grippy rocks. And then you come up our way, and you've got little tiny beckholes that you ride up with massive like limestone steps and stuff. But yeah, Jan was second on the first day, which was absolutely incredible. There was 11 pro riders in the category, and he rode out of his skin. Could have done better, obviously, but you know, Pat's very hard to beat. It's pretty much like in the States, you go in for second.
Was he far off? Can you remember the result at all? Like,
off the top of my head, I can't, to be honest with you. But it wasn't far off, but it was far enough off for Pat to take a whitewash. But yeah, then it absolutely bounced it down on the Saturday night, and we had thunderstorms and tornado warnings and lightning showers and stuff like this, and a little bit more difficult on the Sunday. And we thought that we'd had a good day. You know, Jan was riding good, but he wasn't at his best.
Yeah.
And yeah, unfortunately, he finished 7th, I think, which was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But you know,
still had a good first day.
Yeah, and them boys are something else. You know, a lot of people think there's not no trials in America, but let me tell you, they have a massive trial scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you don't see that much about it, do you? Really, like
no. It'd be nice to see some of them come over to Europe and ride, but yeah, it's a lot of money for them to come. But there's some keen guys now, helping the young boys. So hopefully in the future we might see some more Americans in the trial GP. But I think they've got such a strong youth, as we would call it, like expert riders coming through into the pro class, that I think they could be a force to be reckoned with in the next coming years, especially at the TDN. I think they're gonna wipe the floor on the international route this year.
Yeah.
I don't know who they'll bring, but
they've got a good strong field of riders, have they?
Yeah, anybody in that top sort of 7 in the series could
ride it at trial GP, like top course.
I'm not saying trial GP, but trial 2 definitely.
Yeah.
The international course at the TDN. I think
things up there.
I think they're going to be on the podium, if not pushing for the win. Unfortunately, there's one rider that's sort of like fighting for third this weekend, actually, but he can't ride for the TDN team because he doesn't have an American passport.
Yeah.
He's an immigrant as such, but yeah, not an immigrant.
But we've got a rumour about him, though. Well, it's no rumour, is it? Is he the one who's got the really long tongue that everyone keeps talking about in the paddock?
No, I can't remember who that is. I can't remember who it is. Oh, no, that's Connor. That's Connor from Australia.
Oh, is it?
But yeah, apparently he's got a really long tongue, which is a bit weird, but yeah.
Like everyone in the paddock's talking about it, which is a bit odd, though.
Yeah.
I never found that out.
But no, this lad's Alex Niederer. His parents are... His mum's English, his dad's Swiss. They were born in Austria, but they moved to the States about 10 years ago. He's an incredible rider. He's got a brother who rides in the pro class as well. But yeah, unfortunately they can't ride for the Team USA because they're not born in the States. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about America because it's making me sad that I'm not there. But, like I say, they keep an eye on that trial GP because I'm 99% sure that they're going to be pushing that international class in the TDN this year.
So when did you start working for Jitsi again?
I started working for Jitsi in 2016, October 3rd, 2016.
So you've been there a couple of years now then?
Yeah, nearly 3.
And you're enjoying it? It seems like, well, you've had to move to Belgium, haven't you? You've had to change lifestyle dramatically, I suppose, to do this job.
Yeah, when I was in talks about the job, I was told that if I was going to come to work for them, that I would have to up sticks and leave my beautiful home county of Yorkshire, which was quite a difficult decision for me. I'd always lived at home with my parents, and I'd always said to everybody that I'd stay at home until I was in my mid to late 30s. But yeah, I up sticks. I packed everything up, all my worldly possessions, and jumped in a van, and my dad dropped me off in Belgium. And yeah, I've been there nearly 3 years, and it's a lot different to Yorkshire. But there's a lot of things I miss at home, but there's a lot of things that I don't miss, and there's a lot of things that I like about being in Belgium. So you used to live with your parents before you moved over to Belgium? Yeah, I lived at home in Silsden, and
And now you're in an apartment on your own, so it's a bit in a foreign country as well.
Yeah, it was difficult at first, but you've got to knuckle down, and like I said before when I was talking about Scotland. Yeah. You get the bit between your teeth, and you've got to get on with it. Like I said before, I've had a few wobbles, being homesick and stuff, but yeah, I'm still there. I'm loving life. I get to travel the world.
Yeah, being with you these past 3 or 4 days, it's kind of, you can tell you definitely love your job, but I think you kind of would have to really to do it, because like you say, we've been getting up been leaving at 7 in the morning, and we get back at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yesterday we got back at 10:30.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, to do something like this, if anybody's out there that wants to sort of get into this game and sales or something like that, you've got to be 155% committed. It takes over your life. Honestly, it takes over your life. I don't know what you're like working at the shop. I think you're probably going to be in the same boat as me. You know, you never get time to switch off.
No, it's like your hobby is your job, isn't it? So
yeah.
On the Sunday, which is like your one day where you think, I need to switch off from work or whatever, you're a trials rider, so you go to a trial and you're still part of it, aren't you?
Yeah, massively. But no, I love trials. Trials is my life, and yeah, it might sound sad, but yeah, that's it. You know, I'm living the dream at the moment. You know, I was 26 yesterday, and I'm still young. I'm no commitments, which is why I came out here. You know, no wife, no girlfriend, no kids. Which, yeah, it's crazy. You know, you just gotta get on with it. I never thought I'd go to the States. I've been there twice. I've been to Canada. Hopefully, if you're listening, Jan Cardinals, we'd like to go east. But no, hopefully we can go and sample and visit some dealers in Oz and places like this. But no.
But then I suppose it's not all just travelling though, is it? Like, what's on a normal day-to-day basis like? Where are the offices? Is it in like one big warehouse at Jits? Is it all one big place?
When I started, we were in we're on an industrial estate like any other business. We had a little office and a warehouse, and the company expanded so much that we had to build a new office and a warehouse, but we tagged it onto the old one. So, you know, not a normal days. We come in at around, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and sort of check the emails from the customers, check the orders, sort of just drink a few coffees, just sort of check everything's alright with the orders, check in with the warehouse crew, talk with Jan about when stock's coming in, and Jan's sister who's also in the business, and call dealers, let them know about new products. We're a very diverse team. We've got a German that works for us. We've got a French guy. We've got another English guy who works for us. We've got like the rest of Belgians, so we're a very diverse team. But yeah, normal day-to-days, day in the office. It's not manual labour, but sometimes it's mentally straining. I can go home at 5 o'clock, and that's when the real work starts. When you've got all the dudes that have been asleep while you've been at work calling you and stuff. But as I said before, you've got to be 100% committed, and if you're not 100% committed in the job, like with the travelling and stuff, then yeah, it's not for you, I don't think.
Yeah. Do you travel to many of like the world rounds, or is it just selected ones? Or
well, last year we were the media partner for Sport 7 and Trial GP, so
you were at every round.
I personally wasn't at every round, but we had a representative at every round. But we do get to travel a lot. There's also times when you've got to knuckle down and not always get your own way, and you've got to stay at the office. But I love being at events. I love the camaraderie with the riders. I love the whole atmosphere of events, Europeans, Worlds, even the British Championship. Sometimes, when I've been there, it's a good crack. I get on well with a lot of the riders, and yeah, it's just fun.
So what do you do? Like, say this weekend, like you've been mainly kind of staying involved with the with this new kind of what do you call it? This new unit you've got
in the zone.
Which is like a shipping container that you've had kind of converted into like a meet and greet area,
exhibition unit, I'm going to call it, I think is the right word. But yeah,
it seems like it's worked quite well. It's been real popular, hasn't it? Like this weekend, there's been loads of people there. But
yeah,
they've all been to come and have a look, haven't they? And you've been chatting a lot, and a lot of them do seem to speak English quite well, and they've obviously seen a lot of your videos and that as well, haven't they? They all seem to know who you are.
Craig's even got some fans out here, which is pretty cool, But no, this weekend has been quite an interesting one, really. We were here in 2017 for the European Championship. I was minding back then for a friend of mine from England, and we spoke with Dick and Jan, who the boss was speaking with Dick Bolton, the guy who run the trial, and he told him what his vision was, and Jan immediately said to him, "Yeah, let's jump on board." Like, if you've seen the videos, they don't really have much to ride in Holland. It's pretty flat. Let's just put it out there. But Dick and his team have put in so much work. So we decided, yeah, we're gonna go. And we had the prime spot in the location right beside section 14 and 15, and the qualification section on the Saturday, and the podium and the VIP area, and we had stickers giving out, we had posters, we had the full works, we had the new collection which is dropping on August 1st, which will be available from BVM. It's not hard work, but it's hard work mentally. You stand.
It's a long day, isn't it?
Like today, I've pretty much seen, I think, 4 riders ride 2 sections, if that, which I don't mind. I just love the crack. But yeah, we've been stood there today showing people stuff. Like I said before, we had a casual corner where people could come and buy our hats, and it's been like 36 degrees today, so we've sold a lot of hats, which, can't be bad. Like I say, it's networking. That's basically what you're doing most of the time is networking. Talking to customers, talking to dealers, talking to promoters of the sport, talking to sponsors, talking to riders. I'm not involved in any of the financial side of sponsorship or anything like this, but as I said before, I have a good crack with the riders. So
you've got quite a good relationship with your Jitsi dealers as well.
Oh yeah.
So you get to hear like up and coming and pieces like that.
Yeah, you get a lot of gossip. Let's just put that. You get a lot of gossip at trials, and trials is a very gossipy sport. So yeah, we get a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy, but sometimes someone's got to do it.
Milky needed the toilet, so why did they call you Milky anyway?
So yeah,
Richard
Habalino. That's my other nickname. For any Spanish listeners out there, it means wild pig, because I snore a lot apparently, don't I, Craig?
Yeah, you bloody well do.
No, the Milky nickname came around about 25, 26 years ago. Well, not 26 years, because I'd have only been like two days old. But no, used to have bleached blonde hair and round glasses, and one guy at the local club said to me, "Oh yeah, he looks like the Milky Bar kid to me dad," and here we are now. It's very rarely now that I get called by my real name, which I think is pretty cool.
I've heard of worse nicknames.
Yeah. Everybody knows me as Milky, so it's pretty unique. There's not many people with proper nicknames that, I often get asked, like, what's your real name? And I say Richard, and I'm like, what? It's Richard? You don't look like a Richard. And I'm like, well, yeah. My real name's Richard for all my fans out there that don't know what my real name is. Follow me on Instagram at MilkyBar93.
How many Instagram followers have you got?
We'll just have a look there. I think we're on about 1,300 at the moment.
Are you? Is that
every time
grown a lot since you've been with Offroad Action?
Massively, and every time we do something or someone tags me in a story, it goes up. But yeah, we're currently at 1,375. So yeah,
you're doing all right. You're doing better than some of the top pro riders, aren't you?
Well, some might say I am a pro rider, Craig.
Who are those some?
You don't need to know. Hit me with the next question.
Like this weekend, like we said, we were in Holland, and all the sections are man-made, every single one. And a lot of people were thinking, and I think it did turn out this way, that it was kind of to the Spanish riders, it was to their advantage, wasn't it? Really, like they're used to riding that type of terrain, wouldn't you have said? Compared to like the British riders and so on, like we don't have that many facilities like that.
Yes and no.
Although saying that, Toby Martin did well.
Yeah, the biggest problem is the Spanish have nice weather 365 days a year. Plus they've got like places like Parc Mocto, Castoroli, places like that where they're all man-made. Ripoll, places like this in Catalan, they've got
man-made like practice areas.
Yeah, but then they've also got like some of the best terrain in the world. Like Navas, Gava, Taraday. The Spanish riders are just good, But yeah, the trial here in Zelhem, as I've said before, it's on a flat field that's been made into a mound, and yeah, the sections are all man-made, but it falls into the Spanish hands. But then again, like you said, the kid that won the 125 was from Austria, so I think a lot of the riders that I spoke to on Friday after they'd walked the sections and Saturday morning, they were saying the weekend was going to be either balls or bust, basically, and it was either going to be a massive clean or a massive five, and I think looking at the results from today, that's how it was, and if you had a five or more than 2 5s, I think it was hard to pull it back. With the Trial GP app, I didn't get to see that many sections, but I was keeping my eye on what was going on, and I noticed that there was like a few riders that were clean.
After the first lap?
Well, no, like 10 sections in, and then they had a 5, and they went from being like top 5 to nearly 25th, do you know what I mean, in Trial 2 especially. But yeah, Marcelli was on fire today, only actually dropped 1 in any section, and from what I've been told by a few people, it was a safety one, because he knew that he could win, and so he just had a 1 to settle himself. Unfortunately, he had 3 on time on the first lap because they were all rushing. Because the sections were about 400 mile long,
Yeah. Do you think also, like, there was one thing to note, and I don't see it as a bad thing though, really, but the sections were all really close together, weren't they? It was like you could easily walk around and watch the whole trial with hardly any effort at all.
Yeah, well, 99% of the minders today were on foot.
Yeah.
And the ones that took a bike literally rode them to the top of the mound, parked them up, and never started them again. Personally, I think that today was difficult for the riders because they literally went from section 1, they didn't stop at all until section 15. And the indoor style is very hard on the riders, I think.
More physical.
Yeah, like I've said before, the sections were really long. It was like a sand today, and like fesh, as they call it in the Dakar, which is like really fine sand, which is like riding on pebbles, basically. One slight touch of the front brake in the wrong place and you've lost the front end. When I did manage to get a walk out, I noticed that a lot of the Trial GP lads were breaking the tape as well, because there were some big ass steps out there today with not a lot of run up.
I'd like to say, like, man-made, it's almost you'd think could be harder being with the no stop rule, but then I don't know, I think they marked out really well for it, actually, didn't they? Like, maybe that's why the sections were so long, is because they were giving them, there was more where it's not one massive hill, is it? They had to keep coming back down and finding their next obstacle as such. Like, but
yeah, the terrain here in Zelhem is yeah, crazy.
They've brought rocks from like all over Europe.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've heard it's taken like like 20 years worth of they've been building on this site apparently.
Yeah, well, they last had a world round in Holland like 40 years ago, and they've never been back. But Zellem's been running for quite a few years, and they basically started with getting the place ready for a world round in 2010, I think it was. So, nearly 10 years they've been organising this, and they've brought rocks in from Grossoybach in Germany. They've brought it in from somewhere in Belgium, I think. They've brought rock in from all over the place, and like you've just said, Craig, top marks to the setting out team. I know that the FIM boys went round and eased a few of the sections off, but credit where credit is due. The biggest problem, you've mentioned it, the ultimatum in trials at the moment is no stop, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about it forever, because no stop is no stop. Personally, I'm a fan of it.
I know it's a bit different, but like the Scottish 6-day trial, which is a lot of arguably people say it's the best trial in the world. That's like coming from pro riders as well, top riders, and
nearly 3 times over the limit, on entries. But no stop. Like I say, personally, I'm a fan of no stop in the right situation. I think for the world rounds, maybe stop allowed is the way to go, because it's more of a show. Plus, it's easier to observe, because no stop is, your determination of a stop is different to mine. And
do you not think that the indoor world championship is more of a show, and the outdoor is where it gets down to like the serious business of seeing who is the best, so it's less of a show maybe? Or
but I think people come from a lot of places to watch the world round, and if you're seeing, like, kids are seeing their heroes get a 5 for stopping when they haven't even stopped or whatever, I'm not, saying that
we've got all the answers,
but personally for myself,
from what you've seen, you think it'd be...
I think the World Championship should be stopped. That's all I'm going to say. But like we've just said, the Scottish 545 entries, biggest no-stop trial in the world, Scott trial. I know that's crazy, but it's always oversubscribed. I think it doesn't help as well that I've been brought up with no stop. Personally, I think the British Championship should go back to stop.
You think what should? The British?
The British,
yeah. Even though the world rounds are still no stop at the moment.
Yeah, but let me just put it out there.
Explain yourself.
Spain, Germany, France, Italy, pretty much every national championship, Belgium, Luxembourg, every national championship in Europe is stop allowed, and they're pretty much beasting everybody. I also have many views on the British Championship, but I'm not going to go into them because I don't want to get involved in politics and stuff like that.
So have you been to quite a few national championship rounds in other countries and such? Because from what I've seen, it looks like you say, France and Spain. It almost looks like a world round event. Like it's really kind of, it does, doesn't it? When you see like the videos of it, it looks like a real kind of big put on event, and yet maybe like a British round can sometimes look like it's a club trial maybe.
Yeah, but I've been to quite a few, I've been to a few Germany, I've been to a few Belgians, I've been to French, I've been to quite a few, and I don't want to sound like a big-headed, giving it all the answers like you say, but I think it's also very different cultures. You can go to a trial in France and it be a club trial, and they close the main street because they put a bar in the town, and and all the local cafes and stuff open. I think basically that it's the culture. That's all I'm going to say. It's the culture, but like the French Championship, you know, they have 5 pro riders and they're eating big stuff. Big stuff. I think stuff bigger than anything that's ever been in a British Championship. And I hate to say that, you know, but yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the truth.
Yeah.
I think it shows, you know, that our current, 7-time British champion, Dabble, he's only riding selected ones. I don't know whether that's due to contracts. I don't want to go into all that, you know. I don't want.
Yeah.
But in my eyes, the British Championship should be something that everybody wants to go and have a go at, you know.
Yeah.
We went to America and they have like 9 different routes, and they have routes all the way from beginners all the way through to pro riders. And yeah, I understand they've got all the land and everything like that, but maybe the British Championship should go like that, and then you get more people.
Make a full kind of weekend of it.
Yeah, you know, like
more riders, so better. I suppose more reward for the organisers.
Yeah, like yourself, you're married to an ex-professional trials rider, and you know, Becky was riding the Ladies British Championship, and like, look at Emma this year. She's decided not to ride the Ladies British Championship because she wants to focus on the men's. But for instance, if Emma was riding the ladies and James was doing a men's, and they're in 2 different places, why not bring them together?
Yeah.
Why not bring the youths together and make it sort of more doable for a club to put on, that they get more gain out of it. Do you know what I mean? And every other country does it, and I'm not taking it away from Brian Higgins. I'm not taking it away from Brian Higgins, because I think what he's doing is brilliant. I haven't been to one yet, so I can't really comment on the whole situation. But bring it so that riders can go with the families and make a weekend of it. And if you've got a kid that's riding C class and one that's riding A class elite, you know, it's half the money you're having to spend instead of traipsing up and down the country like a blue ass, you know, blue ass fly every weekend. So yeah, I haven't got the answers, and I don't think you have, and I don't think a lot of people have. And yeah, it's alright us sitting here and saying all that, but we're not the ones organising the trials. And like I say, I don't want to come across as a or anything like that, but
it's interesting seeing everyone else's.
It's interesting seeing every other country's
view and how they do it.
And then going home and a field with a burger van, and that's it for your British Championship.
Good to look at other sports sometimes as well, isn't it? Like, not just kind of in with the trials, but looking at like enduro and like cycle events, things like that. Like, everyone's got their own kind of way, haven't they, and their own way of doing things, and you can kind of like rob bits and pieces from, or rob ideas from those.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think that's what Sport 7 tried to do with the whole trial GP concept.
And I think, like I say, some people are saying, oh, like this qualification now, it's like, some people say, oh, it's not really trials because it's like timed and such, but
you try and go fast on a trials bike over a section.
Yeah, but then saying that, like, it was good, you know, we could have it on at the shop, and it's something that everyone could sit around and watch, and just it was there for everyone to see, wasn't it? They'd contained it, and we used to really enjoy watching that live qualification on a Saturday.
Yeah,
at the shop anyway.
Yeah, the qualification is something that's good. You know, I think it brings everybody in together.
Like you said, like this weekend in Holland, there was that grandstand, wasn't there?
That was
seated like
full.
800 people, I think.
I think it had more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they were rammed on there, and they were
rammed in like
4 or 5
sardines
deep around the section as well, not just on that grandstand. And I think half of those weren't actually trials riders, were they? That was the first event they'd ever been to.
Yeah, I think some places lend themselves to having a qualification section like Zellum. You know, there was nothing particularly dangerous in that qualification section, but then there's other places where if it goes wrong on that quali, then it's going wrong big time. I'm not against it. I think it's a good thing.
I thought it was a good atmosphere yesterday, wasn't it, with the qualification?
Yeah, and the two blokes doing the commentary, they were absolute legends. They just bounced off each other. It was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's Sunday night now, isn't it? We've just finished the trial GP in Holland, but tomorrow we're going to like a jitsi training day, aren't we?
Yeah, so as I said before, we're running a masterclass tomorrow. With us being a partner of Zellum, and Zellum is an actual trials terrain, so they've left all the sections in and stuff, and they're going to leave them for the club riders to come and have a go at, which, yeah, I think is brilliant. You know, Dick's put all the time and effort in. But yeah, tomorrow we've got the trial school. Yeah, with our team riders. It's oversubscribed. We've got a morning session and an afternoon session. Craig's in the pro category, and he's going to be riding all day, so I'm sure if you follow his vlogs we'll get some good crashes for you. But no, that was just something that the boss came up with, that he wanted to utilise the use of the riders, you know, while they're so close to home, because next weekend we've got the round in Belgium, in Comblaupo, which is like, yeah, it's in the French speaking part, and we're based in the Dutch part in Flanders, but it's not so far away, and it's always a really cool trial. You know, spectators can follow on bikes if they've got a pass, and you can get like pretty close to the sections and follow your ride around, and yeah, the riders are staying sort of in the local area. I've personally got all the Spaniards, you know, staying with me next week, the run up to Belgium. So yeah, it's good.
So rather than them going home and having to travel back again, so who is it? Pow is staying, who's a Jitsi team rider, and his mechanic, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Suka does a bit of work. His minder is working sort of for Vertigo, and he's driven the factory truck up here. And yeah, it's a long way for them to go back. You know, a lot of them are staying in Zellum and going to train tomorrow in at the trial, and you know, you don't realise until you travel a lot how much effort goes into actually doing the Worlds as a rider, and to go home tonight and then turn around on Wednesday and come back out to Belgium, you know, that's
killer, and money.
Yeah, killer money. It's probably cheaper for you to stay out here, and yeah, you might spend a bit more money on food and stuff, but you get to chill out in the week, you know, get a bit of riding in, get a bit of a shakedown, get down to the trial in Belgium on Thursday night, and get your bike set up to go again on Friday for scrutineering. So yeah, they're all staying here. We're not so far. We're about 2 hours from HQ here in Holland. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna drag my bike out tomorrow and have a bit of a play around and float around and try and learn a few tips off the guys. Even though I probably taught them all they know. So
I think Dougie was kind of rolling his eyes a bit when you were saying about what you'd like to learn, what you want him to teach you. What was it?
Yeah, well, I'm a straight line kind of man, you know. But yeah, I can op and stuff like that, but I want to learn like touching front and balancing and then going. And when I said that to Dougie, he sort of looked at me as if I was like talking Japanese or something to him, you know. It was like me stopping, but no, I'm personally really looking forward to tomorrow. I think it should be good.
I think I just want to ride some sections where I don't have to take my wheels off the ground.
Well, that ain't gonna happen in Holland, mate. I'm telling you.
Not on pro class.
No. We've already eyed up section 1, and it's got about a 9.5 foot splatter in it for you. with a cold bike, so we'll see what happens. But
with this weather, I don't think my bike's going to be cold for somehow. I think it's going to be baking hot, isn't it, tomorrow?
yeah, I think we might be having a bit of coolant issues.
Yeah. So yeah, I suppose after Belgium, then you get a bit of a rest. Is it then you'll be back in the office, back to the normal day-to-day stuff? Or
for me personally, we come back from Belgium on the Sunday night and have a week at the office cleaning down and sorting everything out and back to normal life, and then I'm off. I've taken a couple of weeks off to go and go to my parents' house who live in France, and I'm going to ride a trial down there for personal, no work, no videos, me and my old man like it was back in the days. So I'm looking forward to that, and then when we come back from that, we have an annual holiday in Belgium, like all people take it. The company shut down for a week or two, so we're shutting down for a week. So yeah, I'm gonna stay down in France with my parents and spend a bit of time with them, because I don't particularly get to see them very often. For me personally, I don't know what's happening, but as a company, it starts to ramp up again, because we start with the bicycle team. Unfortunately, there's only 3 World Cups this year, but yeah, we're super pumped for them. We've got 3 awesome riders on the team. We've got Alejandro Montalvo, who was the youngest person ever to win a World Cup championship last year. He was the youngest guy in the World Championship. Well, he won the World Championship, which is a bit different to motor trials, but yeah, the World Championship is a one-off day, and what we would call in motor trials a World Championship, they call the World Cup. He won the World Cup overall, and he was junior world champion. They tried to ride the adult one, but they said no, you're too young. But if they ride the same sections, but naturally against
people in their own age categories, actually.
Yeah, but if I'm correct, he would have won by quite a long way if he'd have ridden the adults. Then we've got our own British rider, Adam Morwood. Incredible rider, really nice family. The kid rides more than he's than anything else. He's an absolute animal. And then our French Panda obsessed rider on the 26, who's an absolute man mountain. He's so strong, it's unbelievable. So
what do you mean panda? What are you on about?
He's obsessed with pandas, so his mascot is a panda.
Oh right, okay. Why is he obsessed with that?
I have no idea, but the World Championships for them boys have been in China for the last 2 years, and yeah, he always comes back with panda merchandise. But yeah, them boys are going ahead and starting their World Championship, World Cup campaign, so that should be interesting. Hopefully we'll get to go to some of them, because the UCI World Cups are amazing. What them boys can do on a bicycle is incredible. And then yeah, that'll sort of run to the end of the summer, and hopefully we'll get to go to the TDN, because it's going to be epic this year, I think.
Where is it this year?
It's in Ibiza or Ibiza, whatever. Yeah, it's in Ibiza. So yeah, I'm putting my hand up now. I'd quite like to go to that one,
because there's always, for those who don't know, like the Saturday after the women's TDN, there's normally quite a big party, isn't there?
Yeah, but they've changed it now, so the women and the men ride together on the Sunday. But
so that means Sunday there might be a real big party.
Yeah, but from what I gathered when we were at the TDN last year in Czech, the guys were saying that they're trying to convince the FIM to run the trial on the Saturday.
So they could all go out on the
spot. So everybody can have a party on the Saturday night and recover to be able to drive home on Sunday to get the ferry. But yeah, TDN, what can I say about a TDN? I haven't experienced a proper TDN as yet.
No?
No, because last year in Sokolov was a bit calm.
Right. And what, you've never been to others before?
No. But
I always think, I've been to quite a few, and I think if there was someone, I'd almost suggest, like, people, I want to go and see an event, like...
TDN is the place to be.
TDN's the one to go, because it's, you get all these top riders still, but
there's no pressure on them.
Yeah, so they're almost riding
for fun.
Better in some ways, I think, and they're also sometimes kind of maybe try some crazier lines if they've got nothing to lose.
And there's always a party.
And there's the party, but
the TDN in Sokolov was amazing. That the sections were brilliant, the atmosphere was good, but the party wasn't as wild as it was. But I think that's due to where it was in Sokolov. It was on the outskirts of the town in a car park. So,
and you're all about the party.
Yeah, love a good party, me, Craig.
Yeah.
But no, so that'll come to an end in sort of September, and then it'll be back on the bike, ready for winter, and then sort of heading into maybe coming back over to the UK to ride some trials like the lakes and stuff like this, and hopefully we'll be at the Scott trial. Jan wants to have another bash at that, so we'll hopefully be there, and hopefully be at the North Berks Super Trial. So that'll be quite good. We've been having some chats with Craig about some cool stuff. We've got some ideas about the Super Trial, so we'll see what happens. But no, it's been a pleasure, Craig. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being our first ever podcast interviewee.
Yeah, it's been quite a good one,
Sat there on your bed in your pants and your t-shirt.
Yeah, I've always said that trials, I think, needs a podcast, and I hope that you can get it to where it is. Every sport you look at as a podcast: motocross, rugby, UFC, boxing, whatever. It's all got a podcast. So as we go down the line, I can come back on and do some more.
Once I get professional at it and actually remember to save the questions.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I hope you can get some riders in to do the podcast. I think
that was one thing, actually, I thought, when me and you had to interview a few of the top riders, didn't we, for the big screen in Zelen for the qualification.
Yeah.
About how easy they were and how everyone we asked for an interview, they were just up for it, weren't they? And not a problem at all to do anything like that.
Yeah, but I think that's trials in general. I think that's trials people. 99% of the folk are genuine people, and they're there because they love a sport. These boys are here because it's their job at the end of the day, and
And without this promotion and such, they're not going to have a pay packet at the end of the day.
Exactly. But no, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to sleep now and get ready to send some big stuff tomorrow.
Thanks for speaking with us.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Craig.
This Downtime podcast is brought to you by BVM Moto. Shop online or in-store for great deals and get professional advice on your favourite bikes, parts, clothing and accessories. Keep up to date by following us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube.